Utopians, Global here. Wanted to recap on the big time blockbuster trade that just happened between the Atlanta Hawks and the New Orleans Pelicans. As you all know, Dejountae Murray has been highly coveted and his name has been dangled in plenty trade rumors since last deadline. It has finally come to a screeching halt post NBA draft, phenomenal NBA draft, where a record number of international talents were drafted. But what I'm talking about right now is the major move that we finally got to see, and that's Dejounte Murray finding a new home. The parameters of the deal is Dyson Daniels, Australian sensation, coming on over along with ex-Laker Larry Nance and 2 first-round picks for the sole rights of Dejounte Murray. What makes me so excited for Dave Griffin and the New Orleans Pelicans is the defensive front they got. First of all, they drafted Cameroon citizen Yves Missy in yesterday's draft. Super athletic guy who looks to poster everything. He's like a souped up Jackson Hayes. He plays with a different level of aggression and is way more NBA physically ready than Jackson was. And then you take the notion that, okay, Dejounte Murray, Herb Jones, who made second team all defense, even though he barely got to start playing until after All-Star break. And then Trey Murphy, who I've compared that duo to Ron Artest, Houston Rockets, Ron Artest, Shane Battier area. What I really like about them doubling down on the defensive identity, first of all, obviously defense wins championships, but in the event that Zion faces any more unfortunate time missed, you're not too good where you're going to win unnecessary games, yet you're not bad where they can't hold it down 10, 12, 15 games if Zion goes out. Murray has displayed that no moment's too big. He's a Greg Popovich disciple, so you know he's a student of the game. And judging by yesterday's draft pick with Stephon Castle, I think, dare I say it, that gave the confidence to the Pelicans to finally pull the trigger, because the Spurs clearly missed Dejounte Murray if they, out of all prospects, elected to go with Stephon Castle, who I deem to be the closest resemblance to Dejounte Murray's game. You got another down the stretch clutch bucket getter in Dejounte. He is due and ready to step onto a franchise that's ready to win games. It wasn't a good match. Landry Fields is doing more cost cutting, more roster shaving, but it just is hilarious to me. Let me get to the Atlanta Hawks analysis. Dyson Daniels is a very underrated piece in this trade because the familiarity he has with their number 1 overall pick, Ricochet. Victor Ricochet is a 6'8-ish, 6'10 mold. They hoped him to be, I see his ceiling as a Nicholas Batum type. Nicholas Batum was a phenomenal player in Portland with Dame and like Marcus Aldridge. And he's still very impactful to this day, as you all witnessed in the Philadelphia 76ers New York Knicks series. Trending topic multiple times. You can catch me on trending topic multiple times on Twitter X. You can catch me on there, GL8BAL_sports. But what I really liked about Atlanta is it's the similar situation to what they did with John Collins, having to reset that salary cap. Ricochet gets a guy he's more comfortable with. Dyson Daniels is very much similar to Dejounte Murray. Offers a similar type of skill set, 6'5", combo guardish, super athletic, a little bit more stronger, not as gifted offensively quite yet in terms of just establishing himself, but it gives him another partner, running mate for Ricochet in his transition into the NBA. He barely speaks English as we speak, so it's going to be tricky, you know what I mean? And having some familiar faces definitely helps to pivot into the new life of an NBA full-time athlete for Ricochet. The joke and the conclusion to all this, the funniest part to me is it's like a silent war between the Lakers and Pelicans. The Pelicans looked like they were retreating when they were giving the Lakers their first round pick, which ultimately led to them drafting a very polished, very NBA ready Dalton Connect from Tennessee. For those of you who remember Matt Harpring, his game highly resembles that to me because of the physicality, the gritness, and also the 3-level scoring capability. Matt Harpring was very athletic in his own way and very strong player. Dalton already has a strong base. Think For those of you who are unfamiliar with Matt Harpring and do not feel like doing any research or looking up his old tapes, think of Dalton as a more physically stronger, bigger, larger player, uh, similar player to Austin Reeves. Just a more overall girthy player of what Austin Reeves already is. Austin's about 6'4", 6'5". Dalton's more 6'7", but he's just a very polished. Had to really earn his. Really came out the mud with his. He's just a Austin Reeves 2.0. But it's like the silent war between the Pelicans is just and the Lakers is just never ending because since that Anthony Davis trade, where I had to think about it, Anthony Davis is arguably the best New Orleans player to ever play out of New Orleans, best Pelican ever, best Hornet ever for New Orleans, not Charlotte. But you could even say he's better than anyone that on the Charlotte Hornets were, even better than Prime Alonzo or Larry Johnson. With that being said, they gave him the first. They draft Dalton Connect. What do the Lakers turn? What do the Pelicans turn around and do? They take the second of their 2005 first round swap, and they use it from the 2025 Lakers first. Take that with ex-Laker Larry Nance, who's still left over, carryover from I think he's still a carryover. He may have been picked up from Cleveland. I'm not sure how that time window, but he's definitely an ex-Laker. They package that and go get the guy that everyone in the Lakers fan base has been fantasizing about, or the general consensus from the Lakers enthusiasts have been begging for, and Dejountae Murray, and the Pelicans sweep him in the middle of the night. That front of Dejountae Murray, Herb Jones, who was second team all defense, and only played half a year, mind you, which is so impressive, paired with, what's his name, the gentleman, Trey Murphy. And I told everyone, Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, that combination reminds me of that Shane Battier, Ron Artest combination that they had back in the Yao Ming era. They're that impactful. Yet at the same time, if Zion goes down, they're not going to win unnecessary games, but they can definitely win you 10 to 12 games in his absence. Hold down the fort in the unfortunate event if Zion has any more hiccups. As you see, he played over 60 games this year. He's treading in the right direction. And he's still prolific. I don't know what the hell Richard Jefferson was talking about, though I think Richard Jefferson is up next in the hierarchy in terms of great TV broadcasters now that JJ is going to coach the Lakers. I don't know what he was talking about saying Zion is not generational. Zion is generational talent. He was making it sound like he was Ben Simmons during the draft day. I don't know where that was coming from. When he's on the court, he's prolific and he's solidified. They just need him to be on the court. That's the biggest caveat with all that. So Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, and now Dejounte Murray, who's also a very clutch game breaker type with under 2 minutes left, not afraid of the moment. Remember, Greg Popovich pick, and they love him so much over there that they took Dejounte Murray 2.0 and Stephon Castle. All right, Utopians, I'm going to try to do better. So to me, that's crazy that Anthony Davis is, it's like they almost haven't let it go. And it's just a residual thing. Remember, Anthony Davis' agent before Clutch Sports was a New Orleans legend, an attorney, and has made and engrossed well over $300 million in contracts. But that's before all these super max deals and everything. He was a big time player in the market before he abandoned ship and joined Clutch Sports and went to LA. So it's like this never-ending battle, that silent war that's going on between the Lakers, and then them grabbing Dave Griffin, LeBron's old GM in Cleveland, who did as masterful of a job as anybody managing LeBron's career with Cleveland, and trying his best to get him in the best position to get more championships during his time in Cleveland, both stints. It's amazing right now what's going on between these two. But congratulations to the Pelicans. They moved the chips to the middle of the table post-NBA draft, seeing how very keen a lot of these Western Conference franchises are and what they're doing. Seeing Day'Ron Holmes from Dayton, very talented player, go from Phoenix to Denver. That means these Western Conference teams are even willing to work together in order to help get each other better. Remember, Spurs swapped Dillingham to the Timberwolves. Like, these are all teams that are going to have to see each other in the playoffs eventually. And you're seeing them doing deals together. And Dave Griffin had the presence of mind to go jump over there in Atlanta and say, let me get that up off you. And Landry Fields being able to free up some cap now while also positioning their number one overall pick, Ricochet, to be in the best position to win as possible, making him feel comfortable and at home. Trae Young is a very cool guy. Whether they trade him or keep him, you know that he's got a great personality, and he's not going to be hard on the Rook or make it uncomfortable. So good luck to the Hawks in their rebuild, but also congratulations to the Pelicans, because they're really lacking for nothing. I'm sure they're going to get something for Brandon Ingram if they're willing to move off him, because at the end of the day, what Brandon Ingram is requesting, which is probably north of 200 mil if OG is getting that, and he's definitely more decorated than OG at this point, even though OG won a chip with the Toronto Raptors. Brandon Ingram is in a position right now where he could return them a nice ransom, prepare their future, and he costs what both Herb Jones, I would think, and Trey Murphy would cost collectively. And so to me, it's really not worth it for the Pelicans to pay him. It'll be interesting to see what kind of sign and trade deal they might be able to maneuver. All right, Utopians, I'll try to do better next time. Global, out.